Hi friends, in this video we are going to discuss about Fraunhofer diffraction at double slit. Our intention is to calculate or to find the resultant amplitude and to find equation for intensity of the diffracted wave to find equation for position of diffraction pattern and interference pattern. So as usual, the parallel rays which is coming from the source is passed through the double slit. Here it consists of two slit. So this one is slit number 1 and this one is slit number 2. So this area is opaque. Opaque means the light cannot pass through it. The width of the opaque is taken as B, and the width of slit 1 and slit 2 are A. Both are equal. It can be taken as A. So as usual, so this point can be taken as A1 and this one is B1. Again this point can be taken as A2 and this point is B2. So once the light radiation crosses the slit, the point which is available in between A1 and B1, A2 and B2 will act as a source of secondary wavelet. So from here onwards, the light ray can travel in random direction. The radiation which is traveling parallel to the incident ray is projected over the screen with the help of lens, and it will create a central maxima. Central maxima P0. Some of the radiation deviated at an angle theta. And it will be hitting the screen at a point P1. It will create a first order secondary maxima. So here you have to note down one thing. If we consider single slit, the pattern produced only because of diffraction pattern. But if you consider double slit, it is a combination of interference and diffraction. So the output is a combination of interference effect and the diffraction effect. And first of all, we have to find the path difference of the slit 1. Single slit means it can be considered as a single slit. So here we have to consider path difference. Here I want to stress the point of path difference. So path difference means the extra distance travelled by the ray which is emerging from the point B1. From B1. So for example, if you consider our classroom, girls are sitting near to the entrance and boys are sitting away from the entrance. If the boy want to leave from the class, he has to travel extra distance to reach the entrance than that of the girl to reach the same entrance. So similarly here also the photon which is emerging from the point B1 traveling extra distance than that of the A1. So this is called as a path difference. So this point can be taken as C, P, Q, R, S. So here this is the normal line drawn perpendicular to the B1Q. So this angle theta means this angle also theta. Now sin theta is equal to B1C by A1B1. So B1C is equal to A1B1 is nothing but A. So A sin theta. So path difference is equal to A sin theta. So phase difference is equal to 2 by lambda A sin theta. This is the condition for single slit. Similarly, the resultant amplitude already we discussed, R is equal to A sin alpha by alpha. So these are the things already we discussed in the single slit itself. Now I am going to extend this normal line and I am going to draw the normal line perpendicular to the A to R. So this point is R, A to R. Now this point can be taken as D. Again, so now if you draw the line perpendicular to the A1D means now the condition changed to the double slit. Again sin theta for considering the triangle A1, A2, D. For A1, A2, D, sin theta can be written as A2D divided by A1, A2. So again the path difference of double slit is equal to A2D is equal to A1, A2 sin theta. So A1 distance is A, B1 to A2 distance is B. So the total distance A plus B sin theta. So this is the path difference. Once again phase difference of double slit delta, this can be considered as 2 beta is equal to 2 by lambda A plus B sin theta. So already in the single slit alpha already we calculated, alpha is equal to pi by lambda A sin theta. Similarly here also beta can be written as delta by 2 which is equal to pi by lambda A plus B sin theta. Next we want to calculate resultant amplitude. For finding the resultant amplitude, first of all I am going to close the slit 2. If I close the slit 2 means this diagram becomes a single slit and the output consists of the effect of only single slit. So if S2 is closed, the resultant amplitude can be written as R1 is equal to A sin alpha by alpha. Similarly, if S1 is closed, again the situation becomes single slit. If S1 is closed, means the resultant amplitude can be written as R2 is equal to A sin alpha by alpha. The resultant amplitude of the double slit can be calculated by using superposition principle in a vector calculus. So the superposition principle R is equal to root of R1 square plus R2 square plus 2 cos delta. So R is equal to, so R1 square is A square sin square alpha divided by alpha square plus A square sin square alpha by alpha square plus 2 cos delta into R1 R2. So here A sin alpha by alpha and A sin alpha by alpha. So R is equal to root of 2A square sin square alpha by alpha square plus 2A square sin square alpha by alpha square cos delta. So R can be written as root of 2A square sin square alpha by alpha square 1 plus cos delta. So let us consider the trigonometry equation. Cos square theta can be written as 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. It can be changed as 2 cos square theta is equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta. 2 cos square theta by 2 can be written as 1 plus cos theta. So here 1 plus cos delta is available. So here 1 plus cos theta can be changed to 2 cos square delta by 2. So if you substitute this value, the resultant amplitude R can be written as root of 2A square sin square alpha by alpha square 2 cos square delta by 2. So R is equal to root of 4A square sin square alpha by alpha square cos square. So delta by 2 is nothing but a beta. So it can be written as beta. So the resultant amplitude of the double slit is equal to 2A sin alpha by alpha cos beta. Then intensity I can be written as R square. So 4A square sin square alpha by alpha square cos square beta, which means that I is equal to 4I naught sin square alpha by alpha square cos square beta. So here this one is diffraction effect and this one is interference effect. So the resultant amplitude of the double slit depend on diffraction effect as well as the interference effect. Now we have to find the condition for different diffraction pattern and the interference pattern. Actually the wave pattern of double slit consists of interference pattern. Actual interference pattern look like this. So this is the actual interference pattern. Similarly, the actual diffraction pattern consists of principal maxima, minima and second order, third order, first order maximas, first order maxima, second order maxima and third order maxima, like and so on. This is diffraction pattern. Already I told you the output of the double slit consists of both interference pattern and the diffraction pattern, or else it is a combination of diffraction pattern and the interference pattern. So the output of double slit will be look like this. So inside the diffraction pattern there will be a existence of interference pattern. So this is the pattern appeared in the double slit. So here our intention is to find the position of diffraction pattern and the interference pattern. So first of all, diffraction effect. To find the diffraction effect, we have to take only A sin alpha by alpha. So here first of all the principal maxima. For finding principal maxima, alpha should be taken as 0. So as usual, R is equal to A and the exact position of principal maxima will be in the 0 position. Next one is minima. To find minima, sin alpha by alpha should be taken as 0. So which means that alpha becomes plus or minus n pi. So n is not equal to 0, but n can be taken as 1, 2, 3 because n if you take 0 means it is a condition for principal maxima. So n cannot be considered as 0. And A sin theta is equal to plus or minus m lambda. So this equation you can refer in the single slit. The same equation only I have written here. And next one is secondary maxima. So secondary maxima means actually this is the first order secondary maxima. This first order secondary maxima lies in between the second order minima and the first order minima. Okay, so positive side, this is the first order secondary maxima. It is lies in between the first order secondary minima and the second order minima. So in between it is lying, so automatically alpha becomes plus or minus n plus 1 by 2 pi. So here also n can be have 1, 2, 3 etc. and a sin theta can be written as plus or minus n plus 1 by 2 lambda. Next one is interference effect. For finding interference effect, the interference pattern can have only maxima and minima. But in a diffraction pattern, there are three types of wave patterns are available. But in interference pattern consists of only two possibilities. One is maxima and another one is minima. That's all. So maxima means it is nothing but a 1. Minima means it is nothing but a 0. So this is the condition for maxima. So cos square beta can be taken as 1. The cos term 1 means it is nothing but a cos pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. So automatically cos m pi is equal to 1. So beta is equal to plus or minus m pi. And a plus b sin theta is equal to plus or minus m lambda. Similarly, the condition for minima. For condition for minima, we have to write cos square beta is equal to 0. So cos term 0 means cos m plus 1 by 2 pi becomes 0. It means that beta is equal to plus or minus m plus 1 by 2 pi. So here a plus b sin theta becomes plus or minus m plus 1 by 2 lambda. Thank you.